butterfly in the sky. I can go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Reading Rainbow.
Have you ever wondered how food can affect your body? Well, I'm sure the Gulps can help us with that one. We should read on and see what they have to say.
Gulps by Rosemary Wells. Get out the map, said Papa Gulp. Dizzy World, here we come, sang Mama Gulp. Wow, shouted Sister Gulp. Roller coaster mania. And deep-fried devil dogs, Brother Gulp chimed in. I'd rather sip a carrot shake and go paddling in the duck pond, said little Sister Dawn. Papa revved up the engine and the American Dreamliner hit the road. By the time they reached the end of the driveway, the Gulps had snarfed down all their Winky Twinks and Jiffy chips. Soon they pulled into a belly-up burger. We don't even have to get out of the car, Mama said with delight. 4 bloat burgers with cheese, please, and ultra-size those fries, said Papa. I'll have a salad, said Dawn. The Dreamliner wheezed and rattled down the road until finally it sputtered to a stop. Flat tire, said Brother. It must be the carburetor again, said Mama. Only Dawn really knew what was wrong. The car says no, declared Dawn. This family's too fat to roll. Maybe we should lighten the load, said Papa. The Gulps chucked out 3 TVs and a microwave. But the Dreamliner might as well have been parked in cement. I'm hungry, said Brother. I wish the pizza man would come. Sometimes just wishing makes things happen, said Mama. There was a knock on the door. It was Farmer Spratt. Need any help? He asked. A little engine trouble, explained Papa. Is there any place to eat around here? Asked Mama. My goodness, said Farmer Spratt. We've got plenty to eat. Come and stay for supper. The Sprats cooked supper fresh from the garden. The Gulps watched nervously. None of it was takeout. None of it was frozen or came in a can. What is it? Whispered Brother. It's green, whispered Sister. The Gulps were too polite to say that they didn't ever put anything green into their mouths. They hid the salad in their shirts and went to bed hungry. Except Dawn, who fell asleep full of sweet corn and zucchini bread. The next day, there was work to be done on the farm, and the Gulps did their best to help. Papa tried to patch the henhouse roof, but he couldn't get up the ladder. Mama couldn't reach the eggs on the henhouse floor. Sister and Brother picked snap beans, but they were too heavy to carry. Dawn learned to bake apple pie pan dowdy from scratch. The next morning, the Gulps were so sore they could hardly move. We're not really used to outdoor work, said Mama. What do you do at home? Asked Farmer Spratt. Mostly watch TV, answered Papa. Well, why not come along on our hike down to the county fair? Mrs. Spratt suggested. That sounds great, said Dawn. We never walk, groaned Papa. Except to the refrigerator, said Mama. The county fair was worth the hike. It had everything. Deep-fried corn dogs, shouted Mama with tears of joy. Miles and miles of funnel cake, crowed Papa Gulp. There was a country music band, a hay wagon ride, and a killer whale water slide. But the dance floor collapsed under 2 Gulps jitterbugging. The wheels on the hay wagon snapped off when the Gulps got in, and 4 Gulps at once were too much for the water slide. They got stuck, and it had to be closed down. Dawn woke up the family the next morning at 6 a.m. If the Dreamliner is ever going to roll again, said Dawn, somebody's going to have to exercise and eat right. Sometimes wishing makes things happen, Mama said. Mama, replied Dawn, stop wishing and start working. Soda for breakfast is history, Dawn declared. No snacks, candy, or chips. Nothing frozen, fried, or dyed. No heaping helpings. Fresh from the farm only, and lots of outdoor work. We'll starve to death, said Mama. But the Gulps did not starve. Bit by bit, they got out and got fit. Bite by bite, they began to eat right. The Gulps were eating green, and green tasted great. By summer's end, they were stacking hay bales, mowing and fencing, hoeing and wood chopping, bucket hauling and painting the woodshed. Mama picked up dozens of eggs. Papa went up the ladder without breaking a single rung. Brother and sister carried baskets of beans and tomatoes with no trouble at all. Try the Dreamliner, Pop, said Dawn one morning. It started right up and rolled out of its place. Get out the map, whooped Papa. Where are you going? Asked the Sprats. We're going to climb Mount Dauntless, said Mama. The Gulps thanked the Sprats and everybody kissed goodbye. Then the Dreamliner headed for the hills. Soon it was lunchtime. On one side of the road was Porker Heaven. On the other side was a Captain Cluck's chicken. In front of them was a belly-up burger. Oh no, there's nothing to eat, cried Mama. What's that? Asked Dawn suddenly. Hot diggity, shouted Brother. It's a salad circus. 600 different kinds of salad, cheered Sister. 2 minutes later, the Gulps were inside and ordering. Don't forget to ultrasize those tomatoes, said Papa. The Gulps chowed down.
Nom, nom.
Then the American Dreamliner tore up the highway. It went 65 miles an hour uphill with no trouble at all.
Welcome to the cooking show, Getting Fit. We're going to show you a great healthy snack you can eat that will help energize you instead of eating other snacks that aren't so healthy, such as cookies. So we're just going to go through and we're going to show you some of the ingredients we used, and then we'll make them in just a minute. So the first ingredient that we started with was honey, and this is a great antioxidant.
Okay, and the second one is peanut butter, and peanut butter is a great source of protein.
And we added flaxseed, which is omega-3.
Okay, and then the next one is coconut, and we used a shred coconut, which is a really great source of flavor without adding the extra sugar that we already found out we don't need.
And we also added dark chocolate for those of you that have sweet tooth, and it's great for the heart health.
And the next one is our great oats, which is going to be the majority of our snack bites that we're going to be using, which is a great source of carbohydrates, fiber, minerals, and it's really low calorie. All right, let's go get started. Okay, so for ours, we have all of our ingredients laid out already, and we'll talk through and kind of tell you about how much we used for each of them, and then we'll mix them all up together, and we'll just kind of show you exactly how it's done. So the first one is our oats.
We used a cup of oats.
All right. Okay, and then the second is our dark chocolate chips.
And we used about a half cup of dark chocolate chips.
Okay, and then next we use our flax seed, which we talked about how great that was for us.
And we used about a half cup of that as well.
Okay, next is our peanut butter. We'll get that scooped in there.
We used about a half cup of this as well.
Yeah. Sorry, this one takes a little longer.
Making sure we get it all from the bowl. There we go.
All right. And then lastly is our honey.
And we used about a third of a cup of honey. Now we're just going to mix them all together and create roll them up into balls.
Okay, so sometimes this takes us a little bit longer because we got to make sure that all of the oats and the flaxseed all get the right amount of the wet ingredients, which is our peanut butter and our honey. So we got to make sure that they're able to get enough so that they all stick together and we're able to form those awesome power bites we talked about. And then we're going to go and we're just going to dig on in and make them into nice little balls. We roll them to make sure all the pieces kind of are together. And they turn out so they look about like this. Yay! And then we'll put them in there. And then we'll just keep going. And when we're done, we'll put them in the freezer and then they'll be ready for us later.
But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back and have these all ready for you.
Hi, thanks for joining us. We're here with a nutritionist from the University of Nebraska. Her name is Abby Newhouse, and she has a few things to share with us. Some advice for kids trying to get fit. Abby, what are some things I could eat to get energy to be fit?
Well, the best source of energy is through carbohydrates. So in the morning, make sure that your breakfast is packed with good carbohydrates to build your energy through the day.
Wow, okay. I'll make sure to do that. Thanks. What should I stay away from if I want to stay fit?
Well, the main thing you want to stay away from is sofas. And I'm not just talking about the things you sit on. So, sofas are saturated fats and added sugars. So if it's a solid fat or if it's added to your food, stay away from it.
Wow, sofas. That's really great to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how much should I be eating per day?
Well, if you stick to about a 2,000 calorie based diet. So if you want to look at the MyPlate is a great resource. It's a great visual. So half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, and then half of your plate should be grains and protein with a side of dairy.
Awesome. I'm going to have to look at MyPlate. What are some specific things I can eat?
Well, with each category, there's some things you kind of got to keep in mind. So with grains, you want half of your grains to be whole grains. And so what that means is it's the whole grain. It's not processed. And so all the white bread you see, that's processed. You want to keep away from those. You want to have more of the whole grains, so the whole wheat, those types. For protein, you want lean protein. So you want to stay away from those that have a lot of fat in them. Maybe have some chicken, fish. If you're a vegetarian, have like tofu as a protein source.
Okay.
Those soy products. If you're looking for vegetables, you want to make sure that there's a variety. So you want your leafy dark green vegetables, and you want your orange and red vegetables. You kind of want to stay away from the starchy ones. So, I mean, it's the Cornhusker state, but corn isn't exactly the best vegetable you should be eating. For fruit, most of the fruits are pretty good. So just variety is key. If it's colorful, you're pretty on point. But, and then for dairy on the side. You can have low-fat milk, low-fat dairy products, or soy products if you're lactose intolerant.
Okay, so key is to keep my plate colorful.
Yes,
Okay,
very colorful.
okay. And what are some types of exercises I should be doing to stay fit?
Well, there's 3 areas you can kind of look at. You've got your cardio, you've got your muscle strengthening, and your bone strengthening. So cardio is probably the easiest to understand. That's the stuff that gets your heart racing, feels like your heart's going to beat out of your chest type. So running around, playing soccer, playing basketball, those types of sports. And then for muscle strengthening, make sure that you're always stretching so that your muscles don't get too tight and you don't hurt yourself. That's a good one. All right, and so then for those sports, you could do like swimming, anything that's going to make the muscle become longer. So anything where you're reaching, those types. And then bone strengthening is impact. So actually basketball, jumping jacks, that type of thing. Anything where you're going to put weight on your muscles and your bones, that's a bone strengthening exercise.
Perfect. What are some easy ways to get started? I'm kind of overwhelmed.
Well, the best way is just to take little steps. So just start moving a little bit. Get involved in an activity or an organized sport. That's the best way to get started.
Awesome.
Start small.
Okay. Thanks so much, Abby.
Yeah. Glad to be a
For more information, please go to choosemyplate.gov. Abby is not a registered dietitian and cannot be held responsible for inaccurate information or injury.
Welcome back to Getting Fit. While you were gone, we finished up all of our little bites and we froze them for 1 hour so they are ready to go. I wonder if there's any other books that are about getting fit and eating healthy.
I'm sure we could find some.
All right, but before that, let's enjoy one of our bites.
These are good.
Very energetic.
This book is called Murphy Meets the Treadmill by Harriet Seifert. Murphy the dog is in disbelief that he has to lose weight. He got onto a scale and is shocked at what he sees. After thinking he wasn't so bad, he unwillingly starts to exercise. His owner is a positive influence on this new endeavor. Read to find out how Murphy loses weight and who he has helping him along the way.
If you like books about getting active, then Tumble Bunnies is the book for you. It's by Catherine Lasky. Clyde does not believe he will be chosen for a team on the Sports Spectacular this year. Even his brother Jefferson agrees. And it's not until his friend Rosemary introduces him to the sport dynamic air tumbling that he changes his mind. Will Clyde be able to get an award for all his hard work? You'll have to read the book and find out.
If you loved hearing about the gulps, then you'll love this new book too, IQ Gets Fit by Mary Ann Fraser. When the class begins Health Month, IQ, the class pet, makes it his personal goal to win a ribbon by becoming the most fit. Along the way, IQ discovers all of the ways that he has been mistreating his body, but makes the jump to keep trying. Read on to find out more about the changes that IQ makes and whether he will reach his goal. Wow, I really feel like I learned so much in such a little amount of time.
Me too. I'm going to start incorporating so many of these things that I learned into my life.
Yeah, see you next time on Reading
Rainbow! Bye!
Bye!
Fly in the sky. I can go twice as high.